Steve the Hurricane here, and for today's episode of A Drink with the Hurricane, we are going to talk about events, specifically health fairs and vendor fairs. This is A Drink with the Hurricane, the home care sales and marketing talk show that discusses all things growing your home care business. All right, so when it comes to events, there's so many different type of events that we can go to, and this is actually a question that I answered during the Q&A session at the most recent Hurricane Marketing Bootcamp in June. It was a great question, and I went on and I answered a good 15-20 minutes that goes into it. Now, the question was, it was two-part. It was really, how do you get business from health fairs? Now, there's two different type of health fairs. There's the consumer, and then there's the vendor. Okay, so for the consumer type of health fair, this is where you're actually going to the seniors themselves, and you're talking to the seniors. You always want to preface it with two things. There's two questions. Okay, the first question, I'm not going to write it out because it's a long question. The first question is, sir or ma'am, when they come to your table, do you know someone who is either currently in the hospital or has been in the hospital within the last 6 months? Now, think about this for a second here. You're talking to a senior who's at a health fair. Who do you think seniors hang out with? Other seniors. What is the likelihood that they actually know somebody who's currently in the hospital or has been in the hospital within the last 6 months? Statistics show, Medicare stats, 1 in 3 seniors will be hospitalized every single year. So I'm just going to go on a limb that for every 3 people that come to your table or your booth, 1 out of 3 will know somebody either currently in the hospital or has been in the hospital within the last 6 months. Then your second question you want to ask them is, do you know someone who would like to be at this health fair, but they can't because they're stuck in the home? When you ask those two questions and they give you a yes, if they give you a yes to both of them, then what your response is, my services is for that person right here, right now. And talk to them about having them introduce you to their friend who's stuck at home. Many, many times I've done this personally, and my clients have done it, and they've walked out with 4 or 5 leads because the caregiver is the senior who's at the health fair, and they're worried about their own health, trying to help their friend or their neighbor, and they can't. And they've been telling them to get help for months, and they had no idea about the resources available. That's how you get business from events. That's the real quick short answer. Now, when it comes to the vendor events, it's a little bit different. There's a little bit more work that goes into it. And so I'm going to draw a quick timeline for you. Here's your event. The event could be a 3-day conference, like in Atlantic City at New Jersey, where I'm from. The Healthcare Association of New Jersey is a huge event. All of the skilled nursing facilities, the hospitals, the assisted living, they send all of their main executive team down there to get credits. It's an amazing good time. So it's a 3-day event, 3-day. Now, to get business, it's like network marketing here. You don't get business from the event itself. You ever hear the saying, plan your work, work your plan? You get business from all of the pre-event planning. All of the pre-event planning that goes into it. So when you sign up to be a vendor, and this could be $2,500 for a sponsorship for an event like this. When you sign up for this event, then what you need to do is you need to go around for 6 weeks leading up to the event and find out who in your territory is going to this event. Now, when I used to do this, I would actually go and I would find out all of the facilities, all of the rehabs, everybody who was going to that event. You gotta eat, right? Now, even though the event itself included breakfast and lunch, dinner was usually on the individual attending, and the breakfast and the lunch wasn't anything great. It was usually unhealthy food and just quick buffet style. So I would find out who's leading up to the event 2 months in advance, and I would plan that breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3-day event, that's 9 different meals with people at the event. Now, at the event, am I working? Yes. Am I getting business? No. I'm just developing a relationship. We're talking, we're schmoozing, we're having fun. Think about it. A lot of these conferences like this and events, they're usually at great places. I just mentioned Atlantic City was where the New Jersey one was. I love going to Atlantic City. So sometimes I'd go have dinner and then go and play roulette or craps with somebody after the dinner was over. You get to know the person. But what you then do at the event, because this is where all of the follow-up is where your business is gained. After the follow-up, during the event, you book a meeting from a meeting. And you schedule time to go and tour their facility if you've never been there before. Follow up and have an outcomes meeting if they're an existing referral source. Schedule a lunch and learn if they've never had a lunch and learn. You schedule all this to follow up during the next 2 weeks of the post-event planning. And then during that next 2 weeks, as you're putting all this stuff on the calendar, that will set you up for the next quarter of a year with events, activities, and new referral sources, or strengthening relationships with existing referral sources, which leads to more referrals, which leads to growing your census, growing your revenues, and growing your profits. It can't be explained any simpler than this. This is just a tidbit. This is just a slice of the things that I go over at the Hurricane Marketing Bootcamp, at our workshops, with what we do. Stop wasting time. I haven't grown my business in the last 5 years. Come to an event, learn how to do it, go back and truly blow away the competition.